And then we can.
Are we live from the high? At the call this meeting to order, would you take roll, please?
Mrs. Butler,
Here.
Mrs. Donahue,
Here.
Mrs. Kiplinger,
Here.
Mrs. Gillespie.
Here. And stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll second.
Any discussion? You take roll, please.
Mrs. Donahue,
Yes.
Mrs. Butler,
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger,
Yes.
Mrs. Gillespie.
Yes. I don't believe, I didn't get any public participation. We're good there. All right, so now we go on to recommendations of certified personnel.
Okay, thank you. First of all, this is no financial on here. This is all personnel, so I appreciate everybody coming in. Get in here before July 10th, and we move things along. Just from salary notices and advancement on pay scales and things like that. So I think what you'll see in this agenda, and I know it's a consent agenda, but we typically here go over everything inside the consent agenda, so we can do that. What we try to do with this agenda, and what we try to do all year moving forward, is we try to lower the class sizes. We try to provide better service for the kids. We try to address the talented and gifted side, as well as the more involved kids and the bubble kids, right? So what you'll see on here is, there's additional services. We've got some extra gifted math courses. We've increased our safety plan, which I'll present in August, but anytime we have lower class size numbers, it's always a little nicer. If you were ever in the middle school last year during the classroom change, it was a nightmare. So we'll be doing all that as well. So as we go through these, just on, and the other thing, and I know there were some questions about, why and when, but from a timeline standpoint, as we move, we've got people that are transferring and internally, and you've got people that we have to have in, I think somebody come, like, if you got to get your FBI, BCI, it takes 2 to 3 weeks. All right, then we've got to get transcripts, employment verification. So as they get done, as we get those done, we like to get them moving as fast as we can, so we can get everything verified. We have some time, but it's a 2-3 week process. Sometimes we got to get onboarding letters out, you got to get their picture taken, the card, and all that. So, with that being said, the first one on the agenda is a 7th, 8th grade ELL teacher. So this is a 8th grade ELL teacher. He's certified teaching English to speakers of other languages. Now, Angela Hardin interviewed him, our ELL supervisor, our director there for ELL. She interviewed him, and there was another one on here. She actually interviewed an ELL teacher, and we also got a translator for the first time, a true translator of Turkish to English. And so it's nice to have that as well. The first one is Basa Ahmed, and 7th, 8th grade ELL. He had about 9 years in other countries. You can see on his, he's been in Saudi Arabia, United States. Got some dyslexia training. Is there any questions on Ahmad?
Will he only have ELL
Yes.
kids then? Okay, I didn't know if they mixed it all.
Yeah, they may be mixed in with the class, but he'll have an ELL classroom. He's got kids. He got plenty of kids. Next on the agenda, Linda Campbell, new teacher mentor. this was a position that was posted July 26th. We waived the,
July 26th?
I mean, June 26th, yeah,
I'm like,
June 26th, no, June 26th. Yeah, June 26th, this job was posted. And interviewed 5 people, it had 5 people apply internally. And of those 5 people, I interviewed all of them. And then, you guys approved this one. That's a new teacher mentor. I got the job description for you. Basically what a lot of this job entails, what I've noticed, if you remember the one goal that I put together with Heather Sage this year, we talked about it at board meetings, we're doing PD and all that, right, in line with. We had some error, yes. Oh, I thought you had a question. We did the one goal plan. And as we got through this whole, how do we make things better? How do we do professional development? My belief, and it's always been my belief, and I think a lot of people will tell you the same thing. PD is much better if it's pushed in the classroom and done during the day with teachers, as opposed to check the box for 2 days before school starts and then we don't. So I think, from that aspect, this person will do some of that, right? This person will do, the vertical alignment, it will not take the place of resident. So our resident educators, that's a stipend that they all get, right? But we also paid over $40,000 to the ESC for testing coordinator. This job is also going to be the testing coordinator for the district. Salary stays the same as if she was still in the classroom, same step, same salary. But it will be, the PD, it'll be some of the new teachers that will assist you, help with the vertical line, help with the testing across the district. We have, for the last 2 years now, have messed up with some of that because it didn't get done. So we're going to bring that back in-house and do that the right way. So that's why, like I said, I offered that job. I think it was the 7th. I talked to everybody and interviewed people, and it was nice to actually interview people because you got to hear. I don't get time to sit and hear about all the things they can do or are doing. So it was. So I had a couple people said I'm not interested for the testing coordinator for the district. I won't be with my kids, and I'm like, no. I got to deal with all grade levels. I'm like, yeah, like never mind. So that's what that is. And I think this is a job description that it's approved job description from Bethel. It's never been utilized, but like I said, I think new teacher better to see the title, but then the job description, we're talking about standardized assessments and getting back to the procedures and protocol that they have established in this district. So that's the purpose for that. Next one was Christine Jesse. Christine Jesse is a 7th grade math algebra 1 new position. No, I say new, so you got to understand too, right? So the 5-6 building and the 7-8 building, they're split. We're bringing 5 over, we're bringing 6 over, 7-8 stays. A lot of that 6, 7, 8 staff went with the 5-6. So the 5-6, that's the higher. Some stayed, right? So the 5-6. That's the higher new, but a lot of the new becomes 7-8 because some of those people went to 5-6. We gave them the choice. So Christine Jesse she's moved to the area recently, as my understanding. She'll be doing gifted and accelerated math. We've had an increase in numbers in our algebra kids in middle school. It's a good thing. So yeah, so she will be doing that. Jennifer Jones. So 7th, 8th grade technology position. So Jennifer Jones will be taking over the tech teacher for the 7th, 8th grade because Amanda Kerner, who was the 6, 7, 8, went to 5-6. So you can see what's happening. What we're doing here is we're offering some of the same position, but duplicating right for just 5-6 and then just for 7, 8. So now we got more offerings and more classes.
So that's why it says new.
It's new.
It's new, but
It's not a new position.
yeah, I
we
see.
still have,
It's a split.
we have new, we still have tech. We just have a new tech teacher in those grades.
So that department expanded. then?
It's been, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good.
good way to put it,
Yeah.
thanks, Natalie. You want to read the rest of the season? It's better than me. So, yeah, I mean, to that point, like I said, where we want to, and I've asked Josh and Brent both, offer different types of lessons kids are interested in, things that are more relevant, things that they find they want to spend time on, that kind of stuff. So I think, they've been doing that, this enables us to provide a better schedule, less single things. So, and lower class sizes, and they get to do some of these things that the kids like. So that is the 7th to 13th. Trinity Miller. So Trinity Miller, she is a 5th grade math teacher, bachelor step 0, replacement. So this math position got posted June 9th because Mitch Elam left 5th grade math and went to 5th grade science. So the job got triggered to post on the 9th. So that opening, that has been filled by Trinity. So she is new. I think she was she does a lot of volleyball. Seems very spiritual. I think she moved to the area. She was an intern volleyball coach. Got a 4.0 in her GPA. Graduated in 23. She was down in Rowan County and then came up to Fairfield. Was doing volleyball and an intern. So she decided to start teaching. So she. Joshua Russell, he's doing 7th grade math and advanced math. He is a replacement for Kristen Johnson. If you remember, Kristen Johnson resigned. So he's got 159 hours. He's a new guy. I mean, he's right out of college. So not there's anything wrong with that. So. Tiffany Sampson, 3rd grade ELA teacher. She's a replacement for Carrie Livesay, who went to 2nd to 4th grade ELA, which is another additional gifted service. We're expanding some of the gifted services to the ELA. She just got her master's. So. David Sykes, high school intervention specialist. Now David is replacing. Are you David?
Yes.
You go by Dave or David?
Either one, Dave.
All right. So he's replacing Chase Goodall. Because Chase was
Okay.
AD. Yeah.
So that's an IS position?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. High school intervention specialist. It was not a retired hire. Lives in Carlisle still. Came here, my understanding through the interview process, but thought it was a better fit coming from the ESC. Came up. Maggie, I'm gonna go with Tauscher. It's not, I'm sure somebody will. She's a replacement for kindergarten. If you remember that, I'm sure you do. Remember we had 2 young 5s, 1 young 5, and we didn't need 2 young 5s, so we lowered it to 1. We sent 1 to the kindergarten. She resigned, went to another district. Then we had to hire this one because we still had
So you
to
still need another,
So there you go. So it's a new teacher, but it was a position that was filled.
May I
Yes,
ask?
absolutely.
Did you, I'm sorry, maybe I might have missed, did you say she went to the kindergarten class or the young 5s class?
So she's a kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, because what happened
I
was,
wasn't sure which replacement. she
yeah,
was
well, I mean, it's, you need a scorecard this year between there's not so much that people have left, it's they moved,
Yeah.
then we've added, right? So,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, that was happened. What happened was there was 2 young 5, we had reduced it to 1 young 5. She went and filled the kindergarten, then she left,
Okay.
so left the kindergarten.
Did we see her resignation?
Yes, yeah, what was her name?
Okay,
I don't know.
that's fine.
She lives in Marysville, with the Belmont.
Well, that makes sense. It's a little closer there.
Thank you.
Well, they, David Campbell, going on to David Campbell's a long-term substitute. He will be filling in for Chelsea Porto. Chelsea is on maternity leave. She's So that she's be on maternity leave till she's taking off the first semester. She'll be back second semester. Oh, speaking of babies, Josh Stoddard had a baby yesterday.
Oh, good.
Oh, did he?
Nice job, Josh.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Picture of that. And then, from sub, we talked about. Also, so this one here is Marcia Kerr. So, and congratulations to Marcia Kerr too. We got, she just got her doctorate. She was doing her doctorate work and she had access to some of the staff, which was nice. And I got to do a lot of things with the staff, so we had a good talk, but, so yeah, so that's why she's at Masters plus 30.
It's great.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And then Amanda Stegner, who is our emotional counselor, she's went from Masters to Masters plus 15, so. Then Colin, Solis says, here's his letter of resignation. He has resigned and went to, he writes, went to teacher Wayne.
Well, good for him.
You should know.
Thank you for all that. So can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda for certified personnel?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll please.
Mrs. Butler? Yes. Mrs. Kiplinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue?
Yes.
Mrs. Leskowitz?
Yes.
I'll get it.
All right, for classified staff. So Tanya Hatch is the middle school 5th grade classroom aide, which is new. Tawny, it's Tawny, by the way, not
Okay.
Tanny.
Okay, Tom.
So it's Tawny. She's going to be the new administrative assistant at the middle school. So basically what Beth Shelp was to talk with Josh.
Right.
And this is Brett's admin.
So now that's Brent. Okay.
So that's Brett. So she's coming out of the prosecutor's office. So she worked at the prosecutor's office.
Perfect.
I
Nice.
said that's a good fit.
Definitely.
You like it, huh, Jay? Funny, huh? Christina McNamara is a special ed aide, which is a replacement. You gotta understand, in elementary school too, we've got a self-contained classroom, which we didn't have before. So need an aide or two to there, that those kids need a lot of extra help. So. And Bryant Rodriguez Padua, he is our translator who's an aide, so he'll be at the middle school translating. He comes from, he's about 5 years military service, so that's his job. And then Madison Sparks is the middle school classroom aide. Now on the marching band. So we've got.
Let me ask one
I'm sorry.
question before we move on.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to ask that, the translator, do they move from classroom to classroom then?
Yes,
Is that right?
Correct.
As needed, or they'll set up a schedule and rotate through the week?
they are needed all day. Yeah, so they move from classroom to classroom with those kids, right? And a lot of times, I see that our translators often attend parent meetings, and conferences, and, get on the phone. Because like on the iPad, now I've had discipline hearings where I have to translate it because I can't do the discipline because they don't know what I'm saying. So, yeah, they're used all day, every day, and they go to where they're needed.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wondered if they stayed in a specific classroom.
Yeah, they will be, Rodriguez will be in the middle school, but he will cover the entire 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
And if something happens, we need a translator on one high school's out or something, it's full of. Time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Marching band staff, so we've got, so the marching band, I think there's some questions. So in the past, boosters sometimes paid for this, sometimes I wasn't here. Historically, I guess sometimes the boosters picked up the tab, sometimes paper never got turned in at all. I guess the paperwork was a little loose, the way to put it, relaxed. And I know Megan Rust is coming in. She's excited. And I know this was another, I think another goal for the board was to see the marching band it was for me to see it increase and grow. And I think she seems super excited about it, so it's good. But I think, with her coming in and this is what she wants to do, from now till the end of the band camp, so there's leadership camp, band camp, color guard. There's about 50 kids in this. And it's all on a district calendar, but these are the things that she wants them to attend. It's my understanding that these people will attend all the camp, sometimes Friday nights for football. They will do events that are needed throughout the year with them, but they're trying to teach these kids like the brass, the women, percussion. And that's what Megan wanted, so that's why those are the three that were picked. I know Angie Fugate is the booster president for the music booster as well. So, I don't, I look at these as stipends, not supplemental. It's not supplemental. It's just a stipend. But that's kind of the gist on that. So it's I think he's trying to build a program. That's the dates, and then why this may be not consistent is because those are the reasons why.
So it's paid out 001 and not out in 019.
I cannot answer exactly where the funding source of this
Okay.
would be. I could check into that, but I will say, in addition to what Mr. Nutter said, especially if you have district employees, boosters should not be paying directly any district employees, so.
I would
So it's good
prefer,
to bring it,
Yeah,
I would prefer to bring her in-house, so it has some control.
but I can check on.
yeah, yes, okay.
But I think moving forward, we were trying to do that this past year to try to bring everything in-house. Because you just don't know.
As it should be.
I mean, and not that anything intentionally would go wrong, but if they don't know the rules,
Mhm.
and plus it gives us vision. And then we can help budget,
Yeah.
things like that. So that is,
So, Mr. Nutter,
yes,
on that, this is for marching band camp exclusively, this particular group.
correct.
And so the $500 a week is not just 1 week, we're talking
No, it's-
4 weeks?
No, it's for the band camp, the whole extended band camp, which includes color guard, the entire band camp, 3-4 weeks. It's $500.
No, well, it says per week here, I thought. Did it say that?
It says rate of 500 each. I think each person.
Oh, each, okay,
Yeah, each person,
each person.
for the whole color guard, band camp.
Yeah, for the whole
for the whole
attracted
thing.
Okay, because when I read each first, I thought a week, so
Yeah,
thank you.
no, you're welcome.
And then the other stuff, are you gonna bring that to us later then, like for football games and stuff, because that'll be,
No, what Barrett told me was if they need to show up, they'll show up. They'll do what they need to do. But they'll be here for band camp holidays. He was just saying, if they're not gonna, he was just saying that if they need help, they'll show up on a Friday night or they're usually there anyway.
Yeah.
But that was all, but he just said, this is band camp dudes, leadership camp, color guard band, and it's $500 for all of them.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna be
It's a
extra.
deal.
They're throwing that in,
they're doing what?
they're throwing that in.
Oh, throwing that in, gotcha. Thanks. No, I just wanted to understand, thank you.
Welcome. That's the basically the gist of the personnel.
Whole and children.
Thank you. So can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda for classified personnel?
Can we vote on this separately?
Well, we would have removed them from the consent agenda when we adopted the agenda.
I don't think we can do it any time. We have it passed.
Yeah, you can, even though you've approved the agenda, if you want to say, I move that, we pull out whatever section of the consent agenda and vote on that separately. You can do that.
I would just like to vote on those two items separately. The classified and the marching band staff. Oh, so five. Right,
So okay.
so 5A and then a vote and then 5B and a vote.
So can I get a motion to approve the classified personnel of the individuals listed under 5A? Right?
I'll move. I'll second.
Any discussion? You take roll, please.
Mrs. Giflinger,
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue,
Yes.
Mrs. Butler.
Yes.
Mrs. Leskowitz.
Can I get a motion to approve the marching band staff under 5C?
I'll move. I'll second.
Any discussion?
So just, I did go back through the past staff or agendas. I could not find this anywhere where we had paid. So just FYI, I did look for it. There was no evidence of it.
Would that sway your vote? I mean, if it was precedent, would it make a difference?
It would give more information, but it hasn't been.
Right, but if we have a new band leader, right? We have a new.
You have a new, you have a high school band director.
Band director.
Yeah.
When we had a new band director last, it didn't.
I was going on what I was told, right, so.
I hear that.
I was under the understanding before I arrived, right, they sometimes were paid to the booster, or paid or not paid, it's like I said.
No. It
So-
was volunteer.
But yeah, that, and now Megan, yeah, Megan, so Megan was it Tyler, right, Spear,
Mhm.
was there to the elementary, and now Megan's over here, and that's what she was asking.
So what would happen if she doesn't get this thing? What
They
happens?
won't get paid,
But they wouldn't, would
if
they,
it gets voted down, then they wouldn't be paid,
right, and then potentially they won't come either,
that
right?
would be up to them.
Then it'd be
Yeah.
strictly
Volunteer.
free resource.
I'm not saying they won't, I mean, but that's what happened, we just, you don't have the authority to pay them, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have the authority to pay them, so. This wouldn't be paid.
So the money can't be transferred from the boosters to a general fund to pay them?
So, free. Yeah, don't.
We would still, no matter what the funding source is, like. If it was contingent upon a donation from the boosters to pay that, then that could be something that could be done. But without board approval, we could not pay the individuals. We cannot control what the boosters might do, but I would caution any current employee who might seek or receive, they should not receive money directly from the boosters, so.
Yeah.
They could donate it and then we could pay them through payroll, but they should not be receiving it directly.
Was there any mention of that happening?
Not that.
Because I know with the musical, right, that is supposed to be donations from the,
But we pay some people for that, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's supposed to be
Yeah.
donations from the actual, boosters coming
I
in.
don't think that happened.
But it's not yeah, I was
I
gonna
don't,
say.
I think that was initially. what
Initially.
they did, how they presented it, but I don't think that's happened
I mean,
in a while.
I would say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Jenny, Bob, and myself have had these discussions, there has been. I mean, we've done a lot of good things and fixed a lot of things and corrected and right-sized things, but we still have work to do, like we got. Like a benefits package is not consistent across the board, we've got, it's just real. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, that's new, but but I think the boosters, like even the athletic boosters, I mean, and I am more comfortable in my other districts that I came from. that it was in-house. I knew what was going on, treasurer had eyes on it. They're the ones who understand. You know, I think moving forward, that all needs to get corrected, reconciled to where it comes under the purview of the district. We can work together, that's not the issue, it's just, I think it's good for both ends.
But Mr. Fugate is the only one that's an employee.
Correct,
So
yeah,
the other two could get paid by the boosters.
well, yeah, because Angie works at the ESC.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the booster president. Booster payer, so.
But are we also trying to move away from, I know, cause I'm donated out, like, so they look for money for the. Band boosters, and they look for money for the athletic boosters, and then they look for money for, art supplies, and they look for. So, would this be another way, if it's legal, that we pay them, right? Is it another way that we can get away from asking the parents all the time for more money to support all these programs? If we let our kids in the programs, and then I'm sure there's a cost to the band and stuff too, or whatever, and then on top of it, we want the parents to pay for, all this fundraising or whatever. If we have the means, I guess that's the way I look at it, that if we have the means, I'd rather take as much off of the parents' plate as we can and start weeding off all these donations.
I don't think this would affect asking for donations or fundraising, but I have no idea. I think that's speculation.
But that's the booster's job, right, is to drum up fundraising money.
Drum up.
Yeah.
Band boosters.
But I mean, that's what they do, they sell cookies or they sell, spiritware or stuff like that, and somebody else has to order.
I think, to take just the fundraising aspect as a whole, like, I think, like, there's not a. Last couple of districts I've been, everybody has said, God, when are you gonna quit fundraising, you guys somebody's beating on my door every other night, and I do think if we can get to a point, and there was a lot of that here, I noticed. The last fall when I got here, I was like, wow, then it goes into winter and into spring, and I was like, yeah, and there's like, it's kind of like, fundraising fatigue, if you will. And if there's certain things, and that's what I mean, like, if you get the boosters under the one roof, then you can say, okay, you got X amount of dollars, what can we do here, what can we do there? I mean, I think it's a good idea, and I think I would love to be able to provide and supplement for kids to be able to get things and do things behind the fundraising. The flip side of that is not everybody has the time, some kids work, and everybody has the opportunity to fundraise. And so I think, there's, those are appropriate fundraisers. That's first problem, right? That's with everything else worked out to take care of that. But it's, I don't disagree. That's my 2 cents, just seeing it for years.
And then what's the impact if these guys say, okay, if you're not gonna pay me, then I'm just not gonna volunteer? Do you know what the impact is? As far as like, would you cancel camp?
I'm not a musician, and I don't know, why is that funny now?
Do everything.
Oh, yeah, right. So I don't know, I don't know the impact, I can't answer that question. I don't know the impact on the camp. They may end up doing it anyway, so, or maybe the boosters. Yeah, it starts, 7/22 to 7/29 is the full blown band camp. But we've got leadership camp going on, color guard, and then the band camp. It's like 3 weeks. It's long now.
Well, Megan's new at this, and props to her for trying to improve and build and get our, marching band up to a higher level with higher expectations, and to get everybody up to that point, if she needs the individual section support. I think for 3 weeks for $500, it's.
Yeah, I can only speculate like how she's going. Like I said, I talked to Barrett, and Megan obviously talked to Barrett. That's what she was requesting. I don't know how she's going to utilize that. I don't know the impact of them not being there or being.
Yeah.
I usually don't get that
We've
far
got the
down.
money.
Right.
I don't think it's exorbitant,
No.
and if it helps those kids reach their potential, reach a higher level of playing, then
I'd like Megan to have that opportunity.
Right, and if it helps increase our, make our band program bigger and better, we go back to what it was, you know, in years past, which is what we wanted. And if it captures those kids that might not be on the athletic side, but, you know, they're on the musical side, or however you would say that, I wouldn't want to take away from them this
I-
opportunity.
I mean, my limited knowledge of band and music, like when I was at the football game watching the halftime show, I mean, I there seemed like guitars and it seemed very non-traditional. I didn't see a lot of brass or, you know, big drums. So I don't know if this is a lead to generate some of that. I mean, I don't see guitar solos on here, so not that that's bad.
Right.
I'm just saying, my
A more
traditional
traditional-
Friday night to grab more kids is more.
Yeah.
But I know during that one game, one of the bands that showed up here, the visiting team, came with a trailer and a truck. And they all had the really nice uniforms on, and they had all the different I don't know which band, but they had all like the different sections, and they consumed the field. And then our band was over here.
Yeah, it would be nice to see a bigger band. I think, you know, marching band. But I think,
We used to have a really cool one.
and think of that, you know, thinking of Megan had asked me for money. Had asked about possibly buying a trailer. They needed to figure a trailer. They're trying to get a new band trailer. So, you know, and they were willing to pay, I think, $3,000. It was a $6,000 trailer. We've got, I mean, we have equipment, we have things to do, but I haven't responded to that.
And from the budget side, I mean, this is not,
Yeah.
I will just say,
This is
we
not
have not
significant.
met, we have not met to go over, you know, budget goals or any of that related to the band, so.
No, and I would-
it's something.
I would say this time next year, we'd be way ahead of it, but right now, I think you are just reconciling. With what's happened, the building budgets,
Yeah.
budgets.
And it's early.
Yeah.
In the grander scheme of things, it looks like budget dust. And I would hate to make a statement. I think that if this goes to a no vote, then I think it would be making a statement that we don't support band. I mean, that's my personal interpretation of.
I think that we should always support volunteering first. And then as a last resort, paying people, because if these people in the past, they were a lot of volunteers. And people showed up to volunteer because they're passionate about marching band and helping the kids, so. That's where I'm coming from, but I also. That's why I asked specifically if this was marching band only, because I could see this morphing into, and every week, every month, we're gonna have. These people supported this on Friday night, just volunteer a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Not
I think that
everything.
we've already gotten into that a little bit with paying them for performances for the musicals. And again, that was always a volunteer type of a thing. If there were any, I hate to even call it payment, but you know, monies given to the volunteers. Not employees, but it was always through the boosters. And you know, it was a very token type of an appreciation, you know, a $25 Amazon gift card or something like that. You know, so now we've gotten into this habit of paying people to volunteer. And I 100% support the band all the time. But it should be a volunteer situation. I really have a problem. I mean, we used to have a band of, you know, 80 some kids. And the band camp was run flawlessly by the director, parent volunteers, and others. And it wasn't an issue. The older kids mentored the younger kids. There's, you know, leaders in each group. That's how it is. You say maybe 50 kids, that probably includes color guard. I mean,
Soon, yes.
so, you know, we're talking what, maybe 40 kids at best? At this point, I 100% wanna see our program grow. I don't believe that we need to pay to have that though. I think we can grow it without having to pay. That's just my opinion.
I've been on the volunteer side and I know.
As have I sat on the music booster board for many years, so.
So my point was gonna go back to, how long ago was that? Because now when you talk to parents, I've got some friends that their kids are in select ball. And one weekend, one parent went to New York and one parent went to
And those are
Pennsylvania.
choices that they make.
But my point is, the parents are stretched, and I've been on the PTO and crickets when you ask for volunteers. I've been here, crickets when you ask for people to come and help with a committee or whatever we need help with. The time is scarce and people, and then we have two income families and people.
Again, choices people make.
Right, but I don't wanna punish the students or the kids because we can't find
I don't think
volunteers.
anybody's punishing.
But if we're relying on everything to be a volunteer system, I mean, if we were a school district that just couldn't afford it and it is what it is, then that's the way it is, but I think we're in a position where we can afford it and we don't have to keep reaching out, and then maybe we'll get some more volunteers in other areas, and then everybody needs a volunteer, everybody wants to do a fundraiser. Parents are exhausted, I mean, they can only be in so many places at so many times. I guess that's my point about maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was easier to get a volunteer than it is now because of all the different things. And then like all the camps, and then we've got volleyball camp, soccer camp, we got open mat for wrestling, then you've got the camps for the football, you got open fields for football, the two-a-days, and all these other different things, and you got parents working, and then they're trying to take their kids to get them here and get them there and shuffle them around, and we just had this conversation earlier about trying to, figure out who can take my kid to camp or get them a ride to practice and a ride home. And then we're gonna go back and say that we want you guys to volunteer too, because we don't wanna have to pay for it. I guess that's where I'm coming from. I just don't think that we have the people, and if we have the means to pay them, and if that's what it takes to get the people in. That's why I would support this money to. And not go with the volunteer first and then see if that does or doesn't work, and then come back next year and still want a big program, and then come back and say, okay, well, no one volunteered, so, okay, now we'll go ahead and pay you. So I'd rather just be proactive than reactive.
I just wanna say, everything you said, all of us have done, even if it was 10 or 15 years ago, we've all done it. We're still doing it. Even though the kids are out of school, we're still doing those things, so. Again,
Right, and it's probably the same faces then too, because it was no different even in the military. Every time it came around to having a committee to plan for the Christmas party, it was always the same people. It was always the same people that volunteered to put it on, it was always the same people that executed it, it was always the same people to clean up, set up, tear down. It was always just the same faces, and then after a while, it just kept getting smaller and smaller because you get burned out. Then you get tired of it, it's like, well, why should I volunteer if nobody else cares, and why do I care? And then I might as well pay better attention to my own kids and let them worry about their kids. So I guess again, that's where we're obviously, this is a volunteer position. That exudes a lot of our time, and I wouldn't have time to go on and join all these booster clubs either and stuff, so I support where I can and where I enjoy it the most. But I don't think we're in a position where we can get that many volunteers to support all of our programs and support all of our fundraising.
Thank you.
Anywhere
I
to
just
say?
don't wanna see it continue to move, that's the big concern.
It already has.
Yeah, and this proves that it already kind of has, so.
I know we paid for the pit, I think, to people, pit crew, I remember, and
Yeah.
I don't know if we did that year before or not.
Recently, fairly recently.
Okay.
Well, since I've been on the board, so 3 years. Is when it started.
So we're calling the roll on 3, 5, 8.
So moving forward, so if this doesn't pass, then are you saying that you want these guys to solicit volunteers first and see what we can do to support the program and volunteers, and then come back at a certain point if it doesn't work, or if they don't get volunteers, and then re-entertain.
I don't think that we should pay people. For banking. Period.
Just call it.
Right.
I mean, I don't, I gotta do a little bit of research if it does go 2-2 from the sound of it, because I never had this happen before in my career. I don't- Certain things need majority, certain things don't. I'd have to look at some statutes, I'll, I just call it.
Well, I looked up enough how, well, so,
It's not a teaching position, it's not a classified position, it's a stipend.
Yeah. and maybe you would already have the authority to,
I don't know the statute, I can't pay anybody with that, but I just don't know, no.
And the way it's supposed
You
to
ever
work
heard this
is
happen?
if there's a tie vote, you're supposed to keep going until you get a majority on either side. That just based on conversation, it does not look like that might not be possible. If that's not possible, the other option is, and that's why I asked, when the camp is, if there's more information that could be gathered toward the next board meeting, and I don't know if you have all
21st.
5 at that time.
Yes.
Maybe you
I think
pull
so.
this and you gather more information. Bob and I could look at the total budget, find out where the funding source is, find out if the boosters is planning on contributing anything. You pull it off of the agenda, put it on the agenda for the first, then that might be, if all 5 are here.
So
So,
Andy should be back, he told me to be back, I don't know, assuming the rest of you. I will be back if nothing happens.
and then the 22nd band start, so if we wait until our next meeting, then the camp would have to start the next day.
Well, yeah, I mean, can't.
We can do it after the fact. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's already started, like the code, like it was in staggered, so I think.
they're gonna have to have a plan A or a plan B, so it would also give you time to say, okay, what if these aren't approved, then what's the plan? We would be able to.
Yeah.
Work back.
And if we took a vote and it was a tie, then we could still go forward, it's not like we can't come back to it, right? So I don't wanna assume that it's gonna be a split, but maybe it's not going to be a split.
But if you take a vote on it and then you put it back on the agenda after you've already had a vote and then with the tie, it's just better to
So should we just pull
pull
it?
it and then bring it back. That's
That gives
Yeah,
them time to give you more
yes.
information, Yeah, I mean, what her plan is, I don't know.
right.
Maybe the impact of it doesn't go through. or whatever. Right,
So Mrs. Butler could say, I withdraw my motion to approve 5A.
I withdraw,
5B,
5B. I withdraw my
motion.
motion to approve
5B.
5B.
Bring it back.
So 5B is. So we're gonna take you. Table now.
It'll just, I mean, you
Just
can
stay.
table it, or you could just, we are stating that it's going to come out at the next meeting. So
I just never had that.
officially, yeah,
You-
a time,
Yeah.
no,
So I just wanna make sure that, okay,
yes.
we'll bring it back, but so 5A is good.
We already voted on 5A. Yes, we're good, we're good.
So we removed 5A
And
and
we
separated
pulled-
5B. And you
Pull
pulled-
B.
Okay.
You need a second, Bill? Do you need a second?
To withdraw her motion?
Yeah.
There would be a second, because there's no motion.
Right.
Right, then can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move. I'll second.
That's,
Mrs. Giflinger,
Yes.
Mrs. Butler,
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue.
Yes.
Mrs. Lex.
That's for now.
Oh,